That's it. So, yeah, I saw a PowerPoint.
I was wondering.
Oh man, I got like 13 and I got like a bunch more than that. That rain the other day, like I went from like, I picked all one, I was like, oh, I think I'm done. And not today, there's like 6 more new ones starting, like, and there's a bunch of like, dying, but they're downstairs, they're drying right now. Oh yeah? Is it like, hey, what's up? Is it like one seat for play, obviously? Or is it like 3 makes 1? The one place where
you have about 150 seats now. What are you going to do? You got to just let it dry out for a day.
that's what I'm going to pay.
Get them next year.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to dry out for a month and I'll bust her downstairs. Somewhere safe.
We might.
Let me tell you another big deal about it.
I think it's going to
Take it nice. Slip every one of them. It helps the drying process. That won't it'll get air.
Yeah, that's for like the air dryer.
And then right when you pick them, just start drying.
I'll have to do that then.
I've done it.
Well, so that's, I don't know, I'm going to like an extra day or two. It's starting to get a little like rotating stuff. I go over brown spots, that's a good deal there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it'll hurt it. How are you supposed to string it? Like there's things, you have to get like a neat, how do you get a string?
I use a needle.
And then you just kind of like thread it through.
Right to the top.
I was wondering, I was like, how are you supposed to get a it'll work. It's pretty strong. Sweet.
Everything that you saw that I had hanging, all of that.
There is a lot. You can make me a
Oh,
place.
it's said, even though it says they're not said. Be able to see between you and Joanne and see between your legs. She said, no, you're allowed there. You're allowed because we're all available.
Yeah, we have this whole.
I'm not touching Joanna. Okay. That's fine.
That's what I'm saying. One list is so much, and there's so many options. That's like the plan that you gave, it is by far the best I've ever had. Like, I don't know, it's just really good.
That's awesome.
And I get the purple ones that you gave me, and then most of the custom will get too. It's just regular buy-in. So I got like the ones that are coming in, I picked already bottom. So I should have a cheer when it's all said and done.
Save your seat, mark them. Put them in a little baggie, mark what they are for the year. I can do it now, I've got it for 20 and 21.
Yeah, you know.
I got to know what.
Yep. That, I love ever since you told me about the rainwater. Every time it rains, like the next day I'll go and just look.
You could have just done it.
They grew like crazy.
Blow up.
They really.
That's drive down.
Yeah.
They just had out by their gardens, and now I know why. They were taking
Yeah,
water.
that's smart.
And that black garbage can, I
Yeah.
it's got a crease around it. It's full of the heavy rains. So I've been taking it and putting it on stuff.
That's awesome. I want to take a video or like time lapse or something. Because I saw like literally 2 days ago before work, I was out there checking out picking some stuff. And then I came out after the rain last night, went out this morning, and it was like 6 noon things starting to go. But
Yeah, well, we got another month left, or not longer.
oh yeah. I bet they grow year round if you never go cold. Because they just come in.
I got blossoms. Yeah.
They come and they just keep class. I feel like there's not an end date for them. We don't live in the right environment.
And I had one up to that one back a year ago. The wood stuff.
Is it really?
Oh, it gets, because it gets hotter.
I don't shake it.
That's shake it all.
I use it on either ravioli or something like that.
Shake it up. Shake pretty rare.
Seriously, it wouldn't be more than she might be. She's going through.
He thinks he can go really well.
Put that up with your eye. Don't be
I haven't done this in ages. Somebody got caught in yeah. See, you don't
It would suck. So I can't hold it down. I mean,
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to the very first white coat ceremony to be held here on the Ohio University Eastern Campus. Today marks a huge milestone in the nursing student's career while they're in this undergraduate curriculum. You all have done amazing things over the past, year and a half since the onset of the pandemic to get to this point. I know you all have faced a lot of challenges to get to this seat today. I know the faculty probably agree with that as well, sitting over here in the corner over here. But I would like to be the first one to congratulate all of you on that milestone of soon to receive your white coat. This event is very special for nurses, so it marks the entry into clinical practice. All of the students sitting in front of me today, they have underwent their foundations, of course, their assessment, patho phys, pharmacology course, to kind of accumulate all the knowledge that's needed to go into the clinical practice setting to provide the best care to the patients that's possible. Taking care of that at the moment. So once again, congratulations. I'm not going to stand up here and speak forever, so I'd like to go ahead and introduce and welcome the Dean of Ohio University Eastern, Dr. David Rohal, to the podium for a few remarks before we begin the ceremony.
Thank you, and again, welcome to campus. Again, I'm David Rohal. I'm the Dean of Campus here. I'm very excited tonight. Many of you know already that I have a special connection to this program. My wife is a nurse, and what you might not know is that I actually come from a whole line of nurses. That is, many of my wife's family members and in-laws and so forth are also nurses, and it makes for a very interesting Thanksgiving dinner, let me tell you. I have some thoughts on that, but I'll save that for another time. I am actually a social scientist, so I don't have any direct bearing. I rely on my wife for all the medical issues in our family. What I can contribute to you is something that I think does relate to what we're here for tonight, and that is that if you don't know it, Gallup Polls does a lot of ranking for different professions on different topics and so forth, but this one in particular was about the ethics and honesty of different professions, and I think you know where I'm going with this. Nurses, for the last several years, have ranked the highest of all the professions they track at 85%. That is, 85% of Americans say that nurses are honest and ethical. Now that compares to a distant second of medical doctors who only get about a 65%. So that's quite a statement about this profession and the expectations that people have of it. I hate to say it for all of the people in academia, we only get about a 50% positive rating for honesty and ethics and morality in our jobs. So nurses, you're up there, and I think this ceremony again reflects the goals of being honest and ethical in the field, and it's more than just medical. There's something more to it than that. So this is a great opportunity to recognize that, and again, I congratulate you for this evening.
I guess I'll start by introducing myself. I was sitting here earlier thinking, I didn't even tell them who it was. You may have noticed from the program, my name is Matt Fox, the Associate Director of Nursing here on the campus. Next up, we have Loretta Marchetta. She has been with the students from the very start of their nursing career. I'm sure they have lots of probably funny stories to tell about the past year and a half doing virtual instruction. And I'm sure they have told all of you sitting in the audience those funny stories. If not, ask them, and I'm sure they have something to tell. And so now, invite Loretta to the stage to give a few remarks.
We're just glad not to be virtual anymore. So I'm going to talk a little bit, always got the history up there, about the history of the white coat ceremony. It's the oldest and most well-known program of the Gold Foundation. The Arnold P. Gold Foundation established the white coat ceremony in 1993, so it's been around for a long time. The first white coat ceremony took place in 1993 at Columbia University, Begellis College of Physicians and Surgeons, so it actually started out at a medical school. At the time, Dr. Arnold Gold was a professor of clinical neurology and a professor of clinical pediatrics, and we're going to actually show a video of him. He was a very accomplished gentleman. He noted the existence of practice of having students take the Hippocratic Oath. So the Hippocratic Oath to medicine is like our Florence Nightingale pledge that you're going to do. At the end of their medical training occurred 4 years too late. So he felt that was way too late for that oath to take place. So the Gold Foundation instituted the white coat ceremony, hence why we have white coat ceremonies. It was to emphasize humanism, to put the human back into medicine at the very start of the medical education instead of at the end. So support from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation helped advance the white coat ceremony far beyond Columbia. So in just a few years, the ceremony was adopted by nearly every medical school in North America. In 2014, it caught on in nursing schools. So that's a good thing. 60 nursing schools received grants to launch their first white coat ceremony. So we can actually have a grant to help do this at different nursing schools. So each year since, 50 more nursing schools joined the program, and the Gold Foundation trustee, which was Elaine Adler and her late husband Michael, founders of the Adler Aphasia Center, developed this groundbreaking program. So their generosity has helped support the white coat program annually for a lot of different programs. So how do we relate that to nursing? You always have to relate it to nursing. So the white coat ceremony reinforces the importance of a deep human connection. We always talk about that human connection as students as they begin their journey to care for patients. This event serves to welcome the students to healthcare practice, and it elevates the value of humanism, again, that human aspect, at the core of healthcare and what we do as nursing. It provides a powerful emphasis on compassion. We talk about compassion, a lot of compassion from these students. In combination with scientific excellence. So the white coat is a symbol that serves to remind nursing that they are professional duties and that nursing is practiced with integrity and with honor. Nursing is known as a profession full of compassion, a lot of responsibility, a lot of duty, honor, respect, and as Dean Rohal said, trust. That's probably one of the most important things to me is that my patient trusts me. We care for patients at a time when they're at their most vulnerable place, right? They're helpless, they're afraid. This is the privilege of being a nurse, to be there when no one else is. To 1 minute hold the hand of a mother who has just given birth for the first time, offering her encouragement, and the next holding the hand of a man who has taken his last breath. That's the privilege of being a nurse. To share in times of happiness and sadness with your patients. It takes a strong, strong person to be a nurse. A person with steadfast characteristics like the following: empathy. We talked about that in nursing. To feel what your patient is feeling. Compassion, patience, lots of patience to be a nurse. Attention to detail, communication skills, emotional strength, ride that roller coaster of emotions, critical thinking, respectfulness, being flexible, being assertive when you need to, being an advocate for your patient, being reliable, organized, we all learn organized skills, organizational skills, having discretion to know when to do things, physical stamina, takes a lot to be on a 12-hour shift, 16-hour shift, being versatile, and always having a desire to learn. These are just a few of many of the characteristics it takes to be a great nurse. Each one of you sitting here has those characteristics. The characteristics to become a great nurse. I think I've told you that 1 or 2 times. I know because I had the privilege of spending a year with you. And I'm very, very honored to have done that. I will share with you some thoughts and lessons of mine over the past 30 years of nursing. The golden rule that I live by as a nurse is do unto your patients as you would want done to you. So here are some lessons to take with you. Treat your patients the way you want to be treated. Provide the same quality care that you would expect somebody to give to you. Be kind and show compassion to your patients. Learning is lifelong learning. Never stop learning. I've learned something new every day as a nurse. Always strive to be the best nurse that you can. Your patients' lives depend on it. Remember, in caring for others, we must care for ourselves. So do something to refill that cup of your soul. It will be good for you, for your family, and for your patients. Listen to your patients. Really listen to what they say, how they say it, when they say it. It will make all the difference in the world to actually hear what your patient is saying to you. Sometimes that message, that critical message, is between all the words that they're saying. So you really need to hear them. Every day, you will touch at least one person's life and make a difference. Sometimes it's your patients' lives. Sometimes it's their family. Maybe they've just lost their loved one. Sometimes it's your fellow nurses that you have to hold up, especially in these days with COVID. Maybe it's housekeeping, maybe it's the security guard that day. But every day, one thing is for sure, every day you will touch at least one person's life and make a difference. So always take that with you. Remember that the path that you have embarked on to become a nurse is a journey, right? It's a journey. It's a rite of passage, it truly is. It's a rugged and winding road, but with hard work and dedication, you will ultimately succeed. So keep pushing yourself, take one day at a time. My famous line to you is 1 hour at a time. We're just going to take the next hour and get through it. So this evening, you are in the presence of your family, your friends, your support system, who will continue to support you along the way. So nursing really is a journey of a lifetime, and so tonight we recognize your dedication, your accomplishments, and your sincere commitment you have made to the profession of nursing and your patients. So I will end with one of my favorite quotes: choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. I know that I have. So congratulations, White Coat recipients.
I love being a doctor. I loved every day waking up and looking forward to having a positive impact on my patients and their families. And I loved not only my patients, the children, but I really loved the medical students, interns and residents, being a teacher of medicine.
Humanism in medicine lost one of its greatest champions this year. Dr. Arnold P. Gold, founder of the Arnold P. Gold Foundation, died in January at the age of 92. Arnold was born in Manhattan in 1925.
Arnold was a product of the Great Depression. He experienced a lot of sadness around him.
From an early age, Arnold knew he wanted to be a doctor.
When Arnold's father died, his mom had to figure out how she was going to help Arnold get into a medical school in New York. Because most poor Jewish boys went to the City College of New York, and there were quotas. He was finally accepted at the University of Lausanne in Switzerland. There was a caveat. He had to study in French. Arnold didn't know French. But in typical Arnold Gold fashion, Arnold went off 3 months early to Europe. And he sang in the cafes, he made friends, and within 3 months, he went off to Lausanne, and he was graduated at the top of his class.
Over the next 30 years, Arnold P. Gold became a renowned expert in the new field of pediatric neurology.
I have the honor of having been one of Arnold Gold's students. I don't think anyone who comes in contact with Arnold leaves without realizing you've been having a wonderful experience with a brilliant clinician and a brilliant and kind and compassionate man.
Arnold had an uncanny ability to connect with his patients and with their families.
Often we would find him at the hospital on the floor playing with children, and he would often examine a child through the neurological exam, playing.
In the 70s and 80s, technological advances and accelerating scientific discoveries began changing the very nature of healthcare.
He and I were both distressed by what's happened or what's happening in medicine. The world is so speeded up compared to the world that Arnold and I started with in the 1950s and early 60s.
The growing threat to medicine's humanistic foundation became all too clear to Arnold one day while seeing patients with his students.
He was making rounds with his house staff, and they didn't know anything about the child that they were presenting, and introduced him as the brain tumor in room 207. And Arnold, in questioning them, they didn't know anything else about the child.
In 1988, with Columbia Medical School as their first partner, Arnold and Sandra began their ambitious defense of humanistic care by launching the Arnold P. Gold Foundation.
We knew it wasn't going to be easy, and we never thought much about that. You know, we just knew that we were on the right track, that it was the right thing to do, and we just understood that medicine was doing the best it could.
Working out of their living room, Arnold and Sandra set about their mission to change the very culture of medicine. Certainly the white coat ceremony is the sort of the flagship program of the Gold Foundation in the sense that that's where it started.
We're seeing the impact of the Gold Foundation in terms of recognizing humanistic qualities, really holding up as examples those physicians and nurses and other healthcare professionals who really do manifest the humanistic qualities that I think Dr. Gold and Sandra Gold embraced with the idea that they brought forward to create this wonderful organization.
Over the past 30 years, the foundation has had a profound impact on medical education and on the quality of the healthcare patients experience. Its message continues to inspire the next generation of doctors, nurses, and the whole healthcare team.
Treating a patient is not just about treating their symptoms, it's about treating the person in front of you and like making a connection with the person in front of you.
It's not just a nice thing to be kind and compassionate. It's critical to being the best doctor you can be. Incredibly important.
The Arnold P. Gold Foundation has lost its founder, but the important work must and will continue.
You're only half of a physician if you're just good at your craft. Unless it's coupled with patient-centered care and humanism, it's suboptimal care.
At this time, I would like to invite all of the nursing faculty and staff out to the stage, along with Dean Rohall. While they're getting things situated up here, I'll give some instructions to the students on how things will flow from this point. We're going to call each of your names in alphabetical order. Once your name is called, you're going to go over to your right, and there's a ramp over there. You're going to walk up on the stage, come across in front of the chairs. We will meet you midway with your jacket, help you put your jacket on. We'll pause for a couple of seconds, get some pictures. There's a photographer over here, so look towards him when we're looking for the picture to be taken. Afterwards, your family, you guys are free to move out into the atrium area. There's a backdrop out there with the University Eastern logos on it. You can take pictures with family at that point. So I'm going to introduce Kayla Lucarelli. She is the lab coordinator here on the Eastern campus, and she is going to be announcing the names.
First is Abigail Burdell. Jenna Cunningham. Lane Finkhauser. Lindsay Hennis. Jared Heskett. Andrea Hukill. Victoria Jenkins.
Rich Kramer. Caitlin Patterson. Lexi Swinger. Maria Vincenzo. All right, we're gonna have you guys all get together on the front stage here for a group picture.
So it's the 6 tallest people in the back and then 5 in the front? Rich, can you take a step down there to follow it? Do you want their toes to be buttoned in a certain way? Or?
No, just
No,
put your
they're fine.
put your hand in front.
Go ahead and look this way, straight towards me. I'm going to share if you want to face it. Any type of thing.
Go ahead back to your seats, but stay standing. On the back of your program, you'll find the Nightingale Pledge that we're going to recite together. I'll start it off. I solemnly pledge myself to the service of humanity, to endeavor to practice my profession with conscience and with dignity. I will maintain by all means in my power the honor and noble tradition of my profession, the total health of my patients with my consideration. I will hold in confidence all personal matters coming to my knowledge. I will not permit consideration of religion, nationality, race, or social standing in a meeting between my duty
this time, I'm going to announce your names again. You can take your pen to a special person that supported you through this program and have them pin it on your collar. Abigail Burdell. Whichever way's closest. Jenna Cunningham. Lane Finkhauser. Lindsay Hennis. Jared Heskett. Andrea Hugo. Victoria Jenkins. Rich Kramer. Caitlin Patterson. Lexi Swinger. Maria Vincenzo.
Congratulations to all of you. Now you're prepared to go to clinical bright and early Thursday morning, 6:30 a.m. So I want to thank you all once again for joining us in this special occasion tonight here on the High University Eastern Campus. I want to say a special thanks to a lot of people. Hopefully I don't miss anybody, but on the back of the program there's a list of individuals and departments that made this event possible tonight. So the first thank you goes to the Arnold P. Gold Foundation, for donating the pins that the students received tonight. Lori Poe, the records manager in the nursing office, facility staff, the IT department, student services, specifically Lisa Jeffries, and also the dean's office for making this event possible tonight. The students, they were adamant that this be held in person since most of their nursing school has been virtual at this point, so I was very happy that we were able to make that happen tonight. Even though we had to distance and go through some special restrictions, but very glad that we were able to have it in person. I want to leave the students with a quote tonight from Miss Nightingale. She had this quote that I hope that you all live by, and I'm sure you have over the past year and a half. I attribute my success to this: I never gave or took any excuse. So I definitely encourage you to practice that over the next year and a half to finish out your nursing program and to receive your bachelor's degree. And a very similar event will happen at the conclusion of the nursing program. So you're going to be receiving a special pin, that RN pin, in less than 2 years. So it's going to be coming very quickly. One last time, thank you all for joining us. If you want to disperse kind of slowly, don't everybody get up and rush out at once. So those that are in the back of the room, you can head out first and then just kind of watch how people are heading out. There are 2 backdrops out in the atrium area, so if you would like to stick around, take pictures with your son or daughter, feel free to do that. Any pictures, make sure you post them on social media and tag Ohio University in them, so you can spread the word about this great nursing program here on this campus. Thank you again. Safe travels.